Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Harrington, what are you doing? Piss off. Look at Brendan. He's all stressed out. He's trying to figure it out. And now he's gone. Welcome to the show, everybody.
That's the best way to start it.
How are you, Anthony? You good, mate?
I'm good. I'm really good, actually. I had a good weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, things are well, man. I had a good practice this morning. So
there we go. Then we got a nice shot of Brendan's nuts.
I don't know what we're doing here now.
No, leave it. We liked it.
No. We like the ball shot, man. We love it. We don't discriminate here. We're not bothered.
Hey, Mike, I'm a bit ropey today, mate. Leave me alone.
Hey, Anthony. So listen, I know Brendan, you know what I mean? He works hard, he plays hard. He went out there Saturday night. We're going to get to the fight in a minute, but you've been enjoying yourself, right? You've been letting your hair down. You're the champion of the goddamn world, Brendan, rightly so.
You could say I've been letting my hair down, Mike. Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
What'd you do after the fight?
Well, I probably can't say it on this podcast, but we had a good old time, mate, judging by this ashtray here.
Oh, shit.
My guy. Hey, Brian, do me a favor. Go to Brendan's Instagram page because this is hilarious. You're in what casino was it in? You're walking through. It was clearly like 8 o'clock in the morning or something because the casino's dead. And then there's a guy, I've seen him many times. He does like a Bruce Buffer ripoff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you forget you posted that?
I just literally bumped into him after the fight. He was pissed out of his head as well. And I went, "You're that guy that does the thing." And he's like, yeah. So I said, "Go on, give me one then." And he's like, "No, I'm not ready." And I was like, "What do you mean you're not ready?" I said, "Come on, let's get it done." And he just
let's watch this. This is brilliant. Where's this, Brendan? Which casino?
Virgin.
27 wins, 4 losses, 3 stats, 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 145
Shirt came up and everything.
Out of Manchester.
Oh, it was great.
Brilliant.
Wow. He is the new Bruce Buffer.
Well, if Bruce Buffer ever retires, which I don't think he will. All right, all jokes aside, let's talk about that fight, Brendan, because I was watching it Saturday night and there was Gamebred Boxing 4 on. So I was watching PFL on TV. I had Gamebred on my phone. But then when you came on, of course, I was paying attention. Mate, listen, Marlon Moreas, he's been around for a long time. He's had some ups and downs, but he is still a very, very good, very technical opponent. You went out there, mate, and I was blown away. You made it look so easy. He couldn't get near you. You were one step ahead. You were faster. You were better. You were more technical. You were more dangerous. And you just wiped the floor with him with those calf kicks, mate. So congratulations. I mean, there's not much more to say, really.
No, I appreciate it, Mike. And I feel like now, really, really, I'm peaking, mate. And if you look at the run that I've been on now, in them names, Tyler Diamond, Shaman Moraes, Chris Wade, Bubba Jenkins, Marlon Moreas, some big names in there now that I've been beating comfortably as well. And I'm glad that they signed guys like Marlon because I need more bigger names, Mike. There's just not enough big names there for me at the minute. And realistically, there's 9 other guys in my weight. I've already beat 6 of them. Do you know what I mean? So now I have to rematch them and all that. So that's the unfortunate thing about it. But the positives are, I'm on my way to another million, mate. I really am.
Obviously Marlon's fought the best dudes in the world. He's got a win over Aljamain Sterling, who's, the UFC champion. That dude is good, but he's had a little bit of, maybe some durability problems lately. I expected you to kind of test that right away, like early, and just really chase that knockout. I thought going to the leg kicks was genius though. Did you guys, is that something that you just seen fight time adjustment, or were you planning on attacking his legs low right away?
I think that's my major weapon at the minute. I mean, my last 3 fighters, Chris Wade, Bubba, and him, they've all been on crutches after the fight for weeks, mate. It's just like, I don't know, in England, we grew up playing football. I just ended up with good kicks, do you know what I mean? And
that's actually a really good point, Brendan.
I'm being deadly serious. I played football when I was younger, and I've just got really strong legs. So just Yeah, and I think it's more the timing. I'll jab you, and then when you step forward, I'll take your leg, then I'll fake the jab, go low. I'm kind of playing with your range there, and that's what I've been doing in the last couple of fights, and I've really got it down now.
So I'm not being petty or anything like that, even though everyone in the comment section was like, Bisping's so petty. But the first time I ever commentated for the UFC was 2019 in Fortaleza, Brazil, right? First time I commentated. Main event, or I don't know if it was main event, but one of the fights, I think it might have been, was Marlon Moreas versus Rafael Assunção, right? And Marlon went out there, wiped him out in the first round, okay, battered him and then finished him with a guillotine. When I got back to the hotel, I saw him there in the hotel, so I went over. I said, Marlon, that was amazing, that. Congratulations. Do you know what he did? He went,
no way.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. So when I saw you Saturday night kick the lift out of him, I was like, go on, Brendan. Go on, lad.
Hell, mate. Well, I got him for you then, Mike. You know what I mean? You owe me a beer next time.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Don't worry about that. You're driving off to Vegas shortly, are you?
No, I'm driving to LA. I'm just leaving it now, mate. Look at it.
LA.
Let me take you around here, please. Like, there's a fucking bowling alley in the room, mate. Look.
Damn. Man, look at that.
What hotel did you say you're in? The MGM?
It's got a sauna, steam room, bowling alleys, pool tables. I don't even know who I am anymore, mate.
You've come a long way from Manchester, mate. Jesus Christ.
No, we've had a good buzz in here, mate. It's been great. But yeah, I'm driving back to LA today.
What's going on in LA?
Love's taking a few days off, mate. Like, fucking remember me and you had a chat about this. Like, I already know I'm going to be fighting again in 7 weeks. So it's just like, it's horrible, mate. You're just back in camp on Monday morning. It's just like, fuck off, leave me alone. I want to just enjoy my life. You know what I mean? But these fights just come thick and fast, and you don't really get much downtime. So I'm going to go see some friends there and try and take a couple of days away from the sport.
Yeah, you know, it kind of works out for me that you guys do fight kind of back to back, because Rob Wilkinson is one of my main training partners. So I was just texting him a little bit ago, like telling him that you're back in the gym already, and he didn't show up today. So I've been giving him a bunch of shit. So just go with my lie. You talked about you already beat 6 of the other 9 guys. Does that get tough to continually have to try to show something new, or are you going to just, you know, like say you're outstriking, you know, obviously you outstruck Marlon. If you end up running into Marlon again, if, you know, he goes and gets a couple finishes, you could see him again in the playoffs. So like, do you just attack it the same way, or do you try to hide some of your wrinkles, or like, how do you attack that with a tournament format?
It's really difficult, mate. It is, because it's like you have to preserve your body.
Right.
Because you pick up anything, then you're taking it into the next fight. And that's happened to me in the previous seasons. I broke my hand in the semis of not last year, the year before, and then had to fight. No, I broke it in the second fight and had to fight in the semis. 7 weeks later, I had surgery and then went and fought like it was stupid. And then like you're picking up little infections because your immune system's so run down. And it really is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a whole different ball game. It really is. It's not just like the UFC or Bellator fight every 3 to 4 months, have a bit of time off. No, this is game on from January to December. You're in camp. Your mind doesn't get to go anywhere because you know your next opponent's coming up. Then after this next one, you're doing a stare down for your next fight. 10 minutes after you fight, it's just like, honestly, mate, it's an hard one. It is difficult, but you are right. I have beat half the guys in here now. So for me, getting Marlon first, I was buzzing because I was like, that's the guy I want because he's new to the organisation. He's got legacy and name value to it. But yeah, it is going to be difficult to fight Bubba and Wade and all these guys again because it's just like, I don't really get too much from it now. I really don't.
Right. They've felt you before. So like you gotta, you know, you spent some time in there with both of those guys. So like now you got to bring something different that maybe they haven't seen before. That's got to be a little bit stressful.
Yes and no, because now that I know I felt them and I've also beat them, so I know how to beat them. So it does make it a bit easier. But I mean, you can't sit here and moan because before I got into PFL, I was just begging for activity. I just want to be active. I want to be active. Then when I signed up for this, they're like, there you go, you want to be active. There you go, mate. There's fucking 8 fights in just under 2 years. It's mental.
So, Brendan, you see you don't get much out of it. Mate, you get another $1 million. You're sitting there in the big fancy hotel suite. You got the bowling alley. You got the saunas. You're living life. You're enjoying yourself. You're living wild and rightly so. How many more fights is it going to take to get that another big check? And Anthony, listen, I did all right and you're doing well. I never got a check for $1 million. That's like remember the old Pride days? You know, when they would give the massive checks. I always wanted to experience that. That must have felt amazing, but we talked about that last time. But how many more fights, Brendan, until you get another one of those?
No, I get paid for every fight, Mike. I'm on per.
Yeah, no, for sure. But, you know, to complete the tournament.
Oh, three more. Three more. I've got one more regular season fight, but because I got 5 points, you see, so that puts me at the top of the leaderboard because I finished him and nobody else in my weight class finished anyone. So I'm pretty much in pole position to go through at the top seed now. And then I fight June 8th in Atlanta. And then the semis is August, and then the finals November.
Do you stay in the States for your camps during the season?
This is a really tricky one now because I used to be in San Diego, but it's like my place is Thailand. That is my place, but traveling 29 hours, you know, to the fight, it's frustrating. But I mean, they're the cards that I've been dealt. That's where I'm most comfortable, and it's clearly paying off, and that's where I get the best out of myself. So I just have to make sacrifices and do that journey.
Yeah, but what a place to be, Brendan. It's amazing. I love Thailand. It's one of my most favorite places on earth. No, you know, I mean, the people are amazing. The food's awesome. The training culture is just next level. Do you know what I mean? And just like the temperature, the climate, it's cheap as chips. You can stay in beautiful places. It really is like a paradise place to train. So listen, yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but if you fly early enough, you get over the jet lag, you're good to go.
Yeah, no, definitely on that. But if you think about it, mate, I'm going to take a couple of days off now, fly over. It takes you a week to get over the jet lag sometimes. Then you're back in camp, and then it takes you a week to get over the jet lag coming this way as well.
Yeah.
Because they're so quick, the turnarounds. That's the only thing. But you are right. It's a very small thing, but I just like to be. I'm a perfectionist. I like to have my shit down. Do you know what I mean? So that's just one little negative. But Anthony's right. It probably would have served me better to find somewhere in the States that I could have just stayed and trained. But I do get the best out of myself in Thailand. Like you say, Mike, everything you just mentioned there, it's the best place on planet Earth for the mind, body, spirit, everything. So that's why I make the journey.
All right, well, listen, we won't keep you too much longer because, you know, you just fought at the weekend. You probably got a blazing headache. How's the head? You got a headache?
I feel brand new, mate. I might have another beer.
Go on, son.
Go
My
ahead.
guy. See, he's from Manchester. That's just how we do it. You know, people think we're mental. I'm like, come on, what are you talking about? There you go.
There we go.
Hey,
Incredible.
when you're in a suite like that, you're knocking people out, you're making it look easy. Come on, you got to enjoy yourself. What's the plan in LA? Just having a few days and just hanging out?
Yeah, I got loads of mates there. Just all going to chill with them, go for some nice scroll and that, and then I'm off again back in camp.
But you know, you've got another mate that lives just outside of LA. Do you know what I mean? I'll be offended if I don't get a little message, mate. Jesus Christ,
then, lad. Let's go for a pint in LA. Let's do it.
100%, mate. 100%. All right, listen. Anything else, Anthony, before we let him go?
No, man. It's just it was an amazing performance. It was fun to watch. I'm glad you keep coming on, hanging out too. I was wondering if Mike was going to reach out after a while. I was like, we got to talk to that guy because that was incredible. Yeah. But awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thanks for having me on, lads. Cheers.
No, Brendan, honestly, mate, all jokes aside, because, you know, we love a bit of banter and whatnot. What you did Saturday night and what you're continuing to do is unbelievable. Every performance gets better and better. We're friends, but I'm a huge fan of what you're doing as well. So keep it up. We'll talk soon. And I've got a little proposition for you as well, so I'll be in touch. You take care, mate. Enjoy the bevies. Make sure you got a designated driver, mate, because we don't want any nastiness. But Brendan, you're the man. Thank you for joining us after, you know, what would have been a monumental sesh after a monumental performance.
Sound, lads. Nice one.
Yeah, come on. Take it easy, pal. Oh, there it is. So
I like him a lot.
Oh, how can you not like him?
He's fun to talk to, but he's a badass too. It's fun watching him fight. I like his style.
He's real as well. You know what I'm saying? He's real. He was supposed to be on at 12:45, but he said, Mike, we're driving to Vegas. Any chance we can do it soon? Because, you know, normally we like to have our little intro and catch up and this and that. But I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll start with Brendan. Herringbone, because, listen, and by the way, Brian as well, let's have a four-shot. Let's have a foursome.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, boys?
Did Brian leave the show? Because
people were like sending me messages on Instagram like, did Brian get fired? Did he quit? Is he sick of your guys' shit?
I was getting
Yeah.
DMs all week where people like, what happened? Why aren't you on the show anymore? I was on vacation. I was sitting on a beach.
Concerned believers. He's sitting there. He sacked us off. He didn't care about the show. He just went and did what was good for Brian.
And didn't invite us either.
No.
That's true.
Wouldn't have gone. I'm very busy.
I wouldn't have either, but it would have been nice to get a goddamn invitation.
All right, next time for sure. You guys.
Jesus
no, I don't want it now.
I legit thought we were friends. You know what I mean? So, do we have any pictures we can share of Harrington and the baby? Do we have anything that we can share, Harrington? You know, I think the believers deserve to take a look at this beautiful child that you created from your loins.
Why not?
It's less beautiful now.
Why not just do the baby?
Oh yeah, put the baby out.
Can we get the baby on? Okay.
Yeah.
Alex,
Holly
you think
Holm
you can bring
said
over?
there's children.
Oh, you're going to bring the whole baby.
Do the baby?
I can't. No. All right, fine. I'm sorry, Holly Holm. Give me 1 second. Alex is feeding right now, but yeah, I'll bring her over for sure.
Oh yeah, just bring her on too.
Yeah, dude. Tell us.
Just boob and all.
Can't-
Bring
no,
her
all
on.
right.
Like that. They never just want to come on, not unless you know what I mean. They're all you know,
Oh, no.
makeup
Sorry,
ready
I didn't
and
say
things
that.
like that. Harrington, what is the biggest story that we need to get to right now, in your opinion? Obviously, this weekend UFC 287 is going down, massive fight card. We'll talk about that a little bit in a little bit. But we also got Thursday's show. But what's the big story we need to get our teeth into? You think?
In the MMA world, a couple. I mean, my number one was the potential of the UFC returning to London. There was a big sale involving the UFC, and what was the other one? Oh, the results from Gamebred and how an Irish superstar responded to him. So, which one is most interesting to you?
Yeah. No. We'll talk about all the other stuff, but we'll talk about Gamebred. Did you watch it, Anthony?
I didn't watch them all, no. Because they were PFL was on at the same time, and I was, I was out a little bit too. So
Well, it's all right. You didn't miss too much. I mean, listen, I'll be honest. It was decent. Masvidal should be proud. It was a good promotion. Main event: Anthony Pettis beat Roy Jones Jr. in a boxing match, right? Which is a sentence you probably never thought you'd hear said. But then you remember that Roy Jones Jr. is 54 years old. You know what I'm saying? Just to step in there and go 6 rounds with someone like Anthony Pettis. And Anthony Pettis weighed in about 200 pounds, by the way.
it's crazy.
Yeah. He's got
looks
ripples
good.
He's got like ripples on the back of it. He looks like a meathead. Do you know what I mean? He's a little skinny 145er beating Roy Jones Jr. over 200 pounds in a boxing match.
It was crazy to see him weighing at 200 pounds. That was insane.
No, to be fair, both men did really well. Roy Jones Jr. gave a good account of himself. He's 54. He's not the same person, of course. He's an older man now. Pettis just put on a really good pace right from the start. Jones's ability to defend was unbelievable. There wasn't too many flush shots that got through, landed on the chin. There was a lot of body shots though from Pettis. He just overwhelmed him with pace, being the younger man. But still, don't want to take away from his victory. You know what I mean? He went out there, got a solid job done. Vitor Belfort beat Jacare Souza in a boxing match. And as much as I don't like Vitor Belfort, because he's a cock, fair play to him. 46 years old. And I think Jacare was 43.
43, yeah.
Vitor was getting tired towards the end. And then the other one was Jose Aldo. Jeremy Stevens. A draw. And it was about fair, to be honest. It was a 6-round fight. I think they got three
that's
apiece.
what happens when you have even rounds.
Well, of course, yeah. But, I thought they did well. But, yeah, go on then, Harrington. Conor did dive in. What did he say? He was like, me and Aldo should box. And then, even though it was Aldo came back and he said, Conor's effing this and he's effing that and he's a scumbag. And then Conor came back and was like, all right, mate, whatever. I was only trying to be nice. Who pissed in your ass, I.E.? Which I thought was very funny, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. Well, I'll let Harrington give the quote, but it was one of the few times Conor kind of came back and was like, it was funny and it wasn't him just being an asshole, like,
yeah.
It was like he just kind of said something and then Jose freaked out and Conor like, God damn, fine.
Hey, we don't need the quote, Harrington. I kind of encapsulated it. But did you see Conor's Twitter this morning as well? Seeing as we won't spend too much time on Conor. Did you see his Twitter this morning? The voice notes.
I listened to the voice note. It was late last night. I listened to a voice note late last night, but it was him singing a song.
Yeah,
and I don't get it.
There's like 3 or 4. He's having a good old time. He's obviously clearly had a few, you know what I mean? But, there was no, I listened, fair play to him. So what? He's enjoying himself. Of course, it's not illegal. He's enjoying himself. He's enjoying the fruits of his labor. He was clearly 3 sheets to the wind. And all he was doing was having a good old little sing along. Here we go. Play one of these, Brian.
Fields of apple light, where once we watched the small free birds fly.
So that'll do, Brian. There's a few of them, and you know what? I've got nothing bad to say. He's not threatening to kill you, Tom Aspinall. He's not threatening to kill me. I was like, oh God, here we go. What's it gonna be?
I was like, oh man. I thought it was funny. I'm like, I just didn't know if it meant something. Sometimes Conor's like, sometimes he's sneaky in some of the things that he says or does. So I didn't know if it meant something like any of those parts of those songs. And I listened to it a couple of times and didn't notice anything.
Yeah. No, you never know. You never know. All right, listen, there's a story here. It's kind of related to mixed martial arts. You might have seen it, Anthony. And Harrington, I hope you've read it all because I haven't. And you can actually give us a bit of context. But there is a man that was doing jiu-jitsu and he got injured in San Diego and he was awarded $64 million as the result of him becoming a quadriplegic due to force administered on his neck from the instructor. And I've seen Hannah Gracie weighing in and a lot of people are talking about this. Harrington, can you give us the nuts and bolts of it, please? From what I saw, the instructor was showing something and then put the full weight of his body onto the guy's neck. And ever since then, the guy can't walk, etc., etc.
Do we have the video?
Go on. I doubt it.
No, this was
I'll
from
have
5
the video
years
in
ago.
2 seconds. It was on Fight Haven yesterday.
Oh, you have it?
That's what I thought. I
I'll
thought
find
there's a video out there.
Wow. Okay, yeah. The only context I have to add is this was 5 years ago. It took the trial itself took about 4 weeks to complete. Once they jumped through all the hurdles and got the trial started, and it was a beginner's jiu-jitsu class. So super white belt guy getting and getting his neck obliterated there. So.
How long had the guy been going there? Harrington, sorry, I just pulled my headphones out like a real idiot.
It didn't say. It just said that it was a beginner's class. So couldn't have been more than a few months.
From what I heard, from what I understand, he was a white belt, so he wasn't ranked, but he'd been doing no-gi for a couple years. So he wasn't as a beginner as maybe people are insinuating.
Assuming.
Yeah. So I think I probably am on the other end of this, to be honest with you. Because if it's the same video that I'm thinking about if Brian finds it, it doesn't look that serious. It looks like a very standard jiu-jitsu rolling exchange. And I believe it looks like the instructor's on his back and they end up in a weird kind of scramble and the guy just goes completely limp. It didn't look that serious. I feel bad for him because it was like I've rolled with a bunch of white belts and like I've definitely done worse than that to them for sure. And especially you run into a real spazzy one, the one that's got a little bit of wrestling or something, is kind of being an asshole. I mean, sometimes you don't want to hurt them, but you put it on them a little bit to make sure they know like how this works. And it didn't seem like it was that to me, but again, I guess we'd have to see the video again, but I also am not super cool with him kind of shitting all over a fellow member of the jiu-jitsu community. Like the transcript has been posted a little bit and it's kind of like Henner kind of shits on him. Like he's this huge asshole and he would never do something like that to a white belt. Like, God damn, come on.
Really?
Dude, don't play that. Yeah, I don't do that. And he made like $150,000 as an expert witness. Kind of the whole deal is kind of weird.
Yeah, well, I saw, it's funny you mentioned that. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Anthony Smith terrorizes white belts on the mat. Fair play. It's going to be a baptism of fire, especially when they're those really spazzy ones. You know, when they're flailing about. You know, they're flailing about, they're being weird, they're being a little bit dangerous. It's like, bro, I'm going to smother you. Just like Brendan Fitzgerald.
I've been hurt by more white belts than ever by anybody with any rank.
Yeah, because they don't know what they're doing. It's like when you spar someone, like in kickboxing or whatever, and they're a ranked beginner, complete beginner, and all of a sudden they're hitting you with things.
They're beating the shit out of you.
Because they're just being a total spaz. Oh, this is the video, is it? Let's take a look.
Yeah. He's got his back. He's got his back, and he just rolled over his head. See, look, I've seen that thousands of times in the gym. He's just trying to get the hook in. You know, like when you kind of roll over. Like it's like you got the double unders from behind, and you try to take your weight over the front of them so that they kind of roll forward, and then you set the hooks.
And usually they go over their shoulder.
Right.
Sometimes you might get caught on your neck.
Right. His head looks like his head got caught underneath.
It does. I mean, clearly that's what happened, and it's such a shame. And I really feel for the man that's
I feel terrible
quadriplegic for crying out loud. Of course we do. There's no one listening to this right now that doesn't feel for that man.
Absolutely.
And there is a but, and listen, I saw something on Instagram about Henry Gracie selling out the jiu-jitsu community, but I didn't know the details. So thank you for that. But that jiu-jitsu coach is just doing his job. That's what that guy went there to do. And when you're engaging in rolling, something's going to happen like that. You're going to get schooled. You're going to get beaten. You're going to get put in uncomfortable positions. And sadly, very sadly, sometimes accidents happen. And I don't know where the $46 million is going to come from, because if the guy's teaching jiu-jitsu on the mat, I doubt he's got $46 million.
Good luck getting 4,600.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck getting 46,000 or even 4,600. You're right. Yeah. But it's just such a shame for that man. It really is. However, as I said, things do happen. I remember, have you got any stories? I've got one. When I first started doing mixed martial arts, 2003, and I started teaching some classes, like jiu-jitsu, a bit of wrestling, a bit of kickboxing, just whatever I could. It was to make a little bit of supplementary income. You know what I mean? It wasn't much. And we had this barn out in the country that we could use. And there was no social media back then, but somehow I had like 10, 15 people coming twice a week, and I charge them, I don't know, £5 each or whatever. I was it's great, £120 a week. And this guy came, and oh God, I'll never forget it. We were rolling, and he was laid on his back on the mat, and then someone else, a heel just came. Imagine that's the guy's head. A heel just went, whoa, and splattered right on his cheek, right? And his cheekbone was out here, and it shattered his eye socket, right? And he was talking about suing me and all sorts. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, I didn't sign a waiver, Mike. I said, well, it's not a gym, is it? It's a few guys getting together. And, he kind of had me. But fortunately, he never pressed charges. But I'm like, bro, this is we're doing a combat sport. Things
it happens.
Happen, sadly.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anything like that?
Yeah, a show that I used to fight in all the time as an amateur, and I ended up making my pro debut for this show, was doing a small show in Shenandoah, Iowa, which is a town, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people. It's really small. It was about an hour and a half from where I grew up. And, they kind of just go around these little towns and pull in all these people. You get 1,000 people to show. It's good money. And this, amateur guy, I wish I could remember his name now. He's a really nice kid, though. Shoots a takedown in the fight. And the guy just comes over the top to grab a guillotine on his way down. And it looked very simple. It wasn't like he lifted him up and slammed him. Like he just grabbed the guillotine on his way down and drove his head into the mat and snapped his neck. And he's paralyzed. It was the saddest thing in the world, to this day. He's in a wheelchair. And then this was probably
that's not your buddy in the wheelchair, is it, that you go out to the bars with?
No, not at all. And then I don't know, probably, let me think here, probably 8 or 9 years ago, I was doing jiu-jitsu, just grappling with, I think it was like a blue belt, and he was decent, so we're rolling, and I rolled for like a heel hook, and he kind of stepped over and I went to bump him down. Like didn't really crank on the heel hook that hard and his leg broke. Like it ended up snapping his leg like mid shin, just like a funky, weird roll. Man, I felt terrible. And every once in a while, someone will come up to me. It happens. I bet it happens once a year where someone will say, "Oh, you fight in the UFC, right?" And I'll say, yeah. And they'll say, "Oh, do you know so-and-so?" And they'll say his name. And I'll go, they're like, he said you broke his leg. Next time you talk to that guy, tell him to stop telling everyone I broke his leg.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Not only does Anthony Smith beat up white belts, he snaps their legs.
No.
Breaks their necks.
He was a blue belt.
Jeez, Anthony. My word. Johnny Walker training camp. How's everything going?
It's going really good. It's actually, I'm in a much better place now. I finally turned the corner. The altitude for a couple of weeks was kicking my ass and just, I don't know. I think it just from being banged up and injured and being out for a while, it just took me a while before I felt really good. Like the training sessions were going well. I'm super competitive. I'm getting sharp, but I just didn't feel that great, like tired all day long. And so I felt really good. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell anybody. I'm going to though, but David Taylor was at the gym today. He's an Olympic gold medalist, multiple time national champion wrestling,
right?
Multiple time world champion, multiple time national champion wrestler at Penn State. He's kind of just he's still wrestling competitively. He's going to wrestle one more Olympics in Paris next year, and I think he's just checking it out and seeing what he thinks about MMA. But that was fun today. Getting absolutely fucking smoked.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's a killer.
Yeah.
Couldn't be nicer though. Could not have been a nicer guy. So
people don't realize those wrestlers at that level, the top of the food chain wrestler, the caliber of athlete that they are, the strength, the technique. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really, when you go with a wrestler like that, it is so humbling. So you were doing okay, managing to hold your own a little bit?
No, not really. he's as good as advertised. It's different, like I've trained with really, really high level wrestlers my whole career. That's different though. That's different. It's kind of like the difference
what
between
weight class?
I don't know. He's big though. He's bigger than I expected him to be. I would say probably 85. I would imagine he's an 85 or maybe one. Maybe. I think they've wrestled. No, they trained together. Bo Nickal's from Penn State.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
It's like Aljamain Sterling and Merab Dvalishvili all over again. Oh,
yeah.
We won't fight each other. Shut up. Get in the ring. Sort it out.
No, maybe 70. Okay. He might do, those weight cutting guys. I don't know. What's 86 kilograms? Tell me, what is that, Harrington?
86 kilograms is 188 pounds.
Yeah. So
84 is 185.
So he wrestled it. Yeah. So probably 185.
So there was no UFC action this weekend, so we've got nothing to review or go over. But when there's no fights on at the weekend, which is rare that there is no UFC events, and I'm home, I get to go do things. I get to go live my life. What did you do this weekend, Anthony? I'm assuming with being in training camp, it was all, just taking it easy and just enjoying some time with the family.
Yeah, mostly. Friday, I got home, and then there's a couple that Michaela and we go out to dinner with about once a month. So it's cool. We went to a really nice dinner and caught up a little bit there. And then Saturday was actually a lot of fun. We had a big group of our neighbors, went to one of those it's like one of those hibachi grills. So there's like 18 of us, 16 of us went and had dinner, and then we went to this bar. Which is like a retro rewind bar. So it was like nothing but 80s, 90s, and early 2000s like music. And it was awesome. We just sat there. Yeah, we just sat there. Everyone else was getting pretty black out. I had a couple beverages, but kept it pretty low key. And then, but it was fun. We had a lot of fun.
I'm just going to throw this out there. The hibachi style thing, right? For those people that don't know, you sit at the table, they cook the food, they do the rice, they do the little stupid show, they throw some eggs in the air and you're going to go, oh yeah, awesome, even though you've seen it a million times. I'm just going to say this. I'm sorry, Anthony, I don't know what it's like where you went. Overrated. and overcharged, right? Because it never tastes of anything. You get a bit of rice. I want a plate. I want my rice with my meat and this and that, and I want a bit of this and a bit of that, and I want to mix up the dishes. But like as it cooks, they give you one little bit, and then they cook this, and then so you fill up on rice or whatever it is first, and then you get your beef, and then you get your shrimp, and then I'm like, oh, can I just get a plate? Can I get it all at once? It bothers me. I'm just throwing it out there. How do you feel?
Yeah, that is an issue because you get because usually I'll get an appetizer too because I'll get those the crab rangoons or some egg rolls, eat a little bit of rice, and then I'm like, damn, I'm getting full already. So you try to wait, but you're like kind of hungry still too. It's more the experience for me. You know, like we go to the same place a bunch. So like we always request the same cook, and he is hilarious. So it's kind of like a half a comedy show and half a meal, but I don't disagree.
No, I don't.
The food's good.
I'm being a miserable old bastard. I'm just
it's a bit overrated for sure. My kids love it.
They do the volcano, right, with like the onion rings and stuff. Did you do that at your one? It's good though. It is good. It is good how they do it. Right. So at the weekend, no UFC. So I took Lucas fishing. Lucas had his best friend over who lives in Colorado. So we went fishing, and then one of his other friends came. So I took 3 teenage boys fishing on a boat at the ocean. Not a private boat, you just pay a few dollars and they let you on and whatnot. So we went out there. Obviously, they don't want to be with the dad. Do you know what I mean? They're at the front of the boat. I meander over. Hey, boys, how we doing? I look around at the view. I look around. They're at the back of the boat. I'm going forward and backwards for ages. I'm like, look, listen, cut the shit now. Okay, I get it. You guys want to, you know what I mean? You want to enjoy yourself and have your own little time and maybe swear and talk about this, that, and the other. But I don't want to stand there like a knobhead for 5 hours on a boat by myself. Do you know? And I've paid for everything, and we'll be getting food afterwards. And who are you going to look at? You're going to look at me. So stop being so little miserable. So stop being so selfish and horrible. But we caught a bunch of sculpins, ugly little bastards. But apparently they can sting you. And of course, Lucas had to get stung. He was the one.
Has to.
One of the spikes came through the sackcloth that we were keeping them in, stung his finger. His finger swelled up pretty bad. And then he could feel the pain going right up his arm, close to his heart. His heart was beating like crazy. So we're on the boat and I'm like, oh my God. So I Googled, just Google this, Brian, and put it on the screen what it says. Can you die from a sculpin sting? Right? And here's what comes up. It says, people don't usually die. And I'm like, usually die? Oh my
what
God.
What does usually mean?
Yeah. Anyway, we chopped them up. Had some nice little fish tacos last night. It was fantastic. I felt very, very manly. I felt like a real person.
You're like providing dinner for your family with your bare hands. Was it good? It looked good. I seen you cooking. It looked really good.
It was good. It was good. Yeah, Beck did a nice seasoning, a bit of paprika, some cumin and stuff. It was lovely. Some coleslaw. It was bloody good. All right, let's talk about Fitbod. You know what Fitbod is? It is the workout app that creates routines. It's personalized to your goals, fitness levels, and available equipment. Listen, have you plateaued with your workout? Are you losing motivation? Can you not be bothered? Are you bored? Do you not have the equipment? Whatever it is, the Fitbod app will help you turn that flabby bod into a Fitbod. Yes, you see what I did there. Listen, it's a workout app, as I said, and regardless of what equipment you have, it will give you, a bunch of different workouts. It helps you, stay motivated. Obviously, it shows you a lot of new moves. Well, guess what? There's videos. There's 1,400 HD demonstration videos, and the app switches up your exercises so you avoid overtraining and burning out. And the program changes based upon your personal progress for maximized results. So basically, it keeps pushing you, keeps you working out, keeps you having that Fitbod with the Fitbod app. And a full year of Fitbod is less than the cost of a single session with a personal trainer. So, as I say, it's a sensational deal, and it's a great app. Listen, trust me, I tried this thing. It's fantastic. The app is very, very easy to use. Fitbod will keep you motivated and keep you doing something fresh. There's nothing worse than going in the gym going, right, okay, same old crap today, is it? Let's try and think of something new. Well, you don't have to be a gym wizard. It doesn't matter. Fitbod has got you covered. All you got to do is go to the website, join Fitbod today, and build a routine that lasts all year. Get 25% off your subscription, or try the app for free at fitbod.me/believe. Try that app for free. or get 25% off your subscription when you go to fitbod.me/believe. Good luck. What should we talk about, Anthony? Anything on the top of your mind?
Yeah, the sale probably of the WWE.
Yeah, I mean, that is big news. I mean, for me, it doesn't jazz me that much because I'm not. I'm going to lie now and say I am a WWE fan. Because if they want a commentator over there, I fucking love it. Ever since I was a little boy, I've loved it. Professional wrestling, that's my jam. But give me your thoughts, brother.
I was just kind of, I don't know. I think it's interesting, that, kind of Vince McMahon got himself in some hot water and had to step down as the president of the WWE. And then
was that like some Me Too thing, right?
Yeah. So it was like,
let's not go through the details.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it was like a Me Too thing. It was like an affair or something, but.
That's right. Sorry. I saw something. I knew it.
Yeah, I think it was an affair, but,
whatever.
Which is his personal business. I don't know why that's even our business, but.
No, it is his personal business. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's kind of been, him and Dana White have seemed like they've kind of been very friendly competitors. They competed back and forth and argued back and forth over Brock Lesnar. And I know that there's been some opportunities for maybe some guys from the UFC to go and do some cameo stuff over in the WWE. And I know that there's been some rift there a little bit, like I would imagine Daniel Cormier would probably want to do a bunch of stuff, in the WWE, even when he was competing. So,
he was there this weekend. I don't know if you saw that on his Instagram.
Yeah. So DC is a big WWE guy. I know that Conor probably would be one of those guys who would do a bunch of stuff over there too. I think he's a little bit of a fan. So I think that bridges that gap now because they're kind of under the same umbrella. So I think that for those huge superstar guys, and not like the WWE is going to ask me to come over and do anything, but the bigger names, I think that bridges that gap a little bit and makes some more opportunities. I just think it's interesting. I don't know how cool or not cool it is. It's definitely interesting that, WME or Endeavor bought
it's certainly
WWE.
a smart business move by Ari Emanuel and Endeavor. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously to be in the position to do that, you're going to be an extremely uber successful person to own the UFC and the WWE at the same time. But I think together, I think I saw something worth $21.5 billion combined, which is just insane.
Did you watch WrestleMania at all? I'm assuming you didn't.
Nah. Listen, Saturday night we had the Anthony. I mean, I was on the boat, and when the lads were ignoring me, I was watching the Anthony Joshua fight versus Jermaine Franklin. So I was watching that while they did that, and then we had Gamebred and we had the PFL. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, you got a real
Saturday. It was Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, well, so whatever.
I watched the.
I don't like to see grown men in spandex pretending to be tough.
I watched Brock Lesnar, and I watched in the main event. I watched a couple of Ronda Rousey. So it is. My kids like it.
What's her name? She's Valerie Laredo. Is she in WWE or is that what's the other one? AEW.
I think Valerie signed like a developmental deal with the WWE. So I think they have like I don't know how much people even care about this, but they have like a kind of like a feeder system called NXT, I believe. And it's very similar to the Contender Series. You work your way through, and then when you're ready, you can go up to the big show. But I believe she went. I think she has an NXT.
And Logan Paul, he's WWE.
He is, yeah. I think more so on like a cameo kind of. He comes and goes for the big shows. I don't think he's not traveling, working all the house shows, and has that crazy schedule. But I think he's famous enough. He can kind of come and go as he wants to.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I saw a little thing Saturday night where he jumps off the rope and he lands on top of KSI, who was dressed up in a Prime bottle. So great marketing.
For sure.
And listen, I'll give him his due. I mean, to be able to, the athleticism. I mean, because listen, anyone that like me, and I poke a little bit of fun at wrestling. The guys are making a living. They're doing what they love and people go crazy for it. So fair play to all of them. The athleticism of what it requires to do some of those moves is just off the charts. I couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
No.
And Logan Paul, when he jumped off the top there and lands on the top of the table and crushes KSI and whatnot, unbelievable. So you never know. you might see that crossover fight from Logan Paul if he's signed to the WWE. Now he's gonna, he's got the Prime Energy drink tie in there, sponsoring the UFC. You never know, you might see it. But what I did see, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is that Logan Paul, listen, I got to be careful what I say, not trying to talk crap, but he reckons he could beat Tyson Fury in an MMA fight.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think once you get to that big of a size difference, I mean, what's Logan Paul going to shoot a blast double on Tyson Fury? Especially if you give Tyson some time to just figure out how to be big and heavy and not get moved, and he lands a couple. No.
Just show him how to do a couple of underhooks. He's got a ridiculously long reach, so he could underhook underhook a squirrel. A squirrel standing there, his arms are so like he's got some just pick up the squirrel. You know what I mean? He can underhooks for days. Yeah. Listen, he's out of his goddamn mind. But to be fair, he's saying the right things, because I had a little poke at it on Twitter. Mm-hmm. He's doing the right, and we're talking about it now. He's doing the right thing.
I actually like Logan. I can't stand Jake, but I actually really like Logan. I don't have any problem with Logan.
I'm sure he's.
He talked a little. He said he thought he could beat you in a fight because you're old, but that I'm over it now. I'm past it. I was a little offended by that for you, but
I'm not.
He's like, I'm not over it. But I think he's an incredible athlete. Some of the things he's done in the WWE it's been shocking to see how well he's picked up that art craft or that art and really honed his craft there. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I think marketing wise, he's doing great. I think the Prime thing is genius. He seems to be more real, when you get him, you watch an interview or I live my life in 20-second shorts because I don't, when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it seems like he's a decent guy. So I don't mind him at all. So, and so I don't want to shit on him, but there's no way he beats Tyson.
No way at all. But fair play. As I say, he's doing the right thing because we're talking about him. Obviously, this weekend, Gilbert Burns, Masvidal, Adesanya,
I was going to ask you a question.
In fact, the whole. Say again, buddy.
I was going to ask you a question.
Oh, go ahead, please.
I think I've seen a quote somewhere. I think I've seen a quote somewhere that said Masvidal said that if he loses this fight, that he'll probably retire or something similar to that. What do you make of that? Do you think that this is that type? Do you think that's this type of fight for him? If he can't beat Gilbert Burns, that's probably his last opportunity to make his way to a title. Is that what he's getting at? You think?
I really don't know. Let me just click on his name right here and see how old he is. He's 38 years old. He's 38. So he's probably, for a welterweight, probably getting close to that time when he's going to retire. You never know. When somebody says things like that, it could be hype to try and get more people to tune in. But Masvidal doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that goes around talking and saying headlines for the sake of it. Seems like a pretty real, straightforward kind of dude. You know what I mean? If he says that he's going to smash your face, he's going to give it a try. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? He's pretty real. Yeah, he is what he says on the tin, so to speak. So I don't know. Maybe because, it seems like he's doing very well financially. I know he has the Mezcal brand. I know he's got a nightclub, which he owns as well down in Florida as well. And
really?
He's, So he's
doing okay. He doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's just going to float around and fight on, pay-per-view openers and what I mean?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
He's trying to become the champ, and if he loses to Gilbert Burns, then I think that opportunity has set sail, so to speak. And let's remember Leon Edwards being the champ. You know what I mean? If Leon's still the champ, but when the stars align for them two, that's a massive opportunity for Masvidal. Even if when the time comes that Leon loses the belt, that will always be a big fight. That could be a co-main. Even with Leon, obviously with Leon being the champ, that would be a main event on a pay-per-view. Even without the belt, co-main event on a pay-per-view or a fight night, bloody headliner all over the place. But I don't know, 38 years old. I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself, but Masvidal doesn't strike me as the type of guy that feels pressure like you or me may do. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I just don't get that vibe. I don't get the vibe that he cares that much as far as obviously he cares about the fighting and he wants to win, but he doesn't seem like the type of person that stresses himself out too much because whether he's ready or not ready, he's going to fight his ass off. He seems like the type of guy that you would be like, hey, you know, like right before he's about to fight, like, hey, how do you feel? He seems like the type of guy that was like, doesn't fucking matter how I feel. Like, I'm going to go fight. Yeah. He seems like that type of a person.
I've got the exact quote here. He said, this could be the last one. If I lose, I'm pretty much calling it quits, but a win against Gilbert means that things are headed in the right direction. So if I roll the dice and do everything right, I'm going for it all. Then he goes on to say, I think I'm at my best right now, my mental game, my physical, and now I've got to go out there and prove it. I've got my back up against the wall. I get to start my resurrection here in Miami-Dade County, the city that birthed me, that made me, that molded me. So I'm more than excited. April 8th, I've got to give it my all. If I win, we keep rolling that dice until we get that effing belt. And listen, that's the mindset you got to have, you know. And I guess as you say, maybe he's not interested in, you know, fighting mid-card guys or whatever. He's here for the belt, one thing. So I kind of respect that. And if he's got enough stuff going on outside of the octagon, I mean, listen, let's be honest, the man's paid his dues. The man has more than paid his dues in the sport of mixed martial arts. I mean, he's been around forever. Let's have a look at his record here. First ever pro. And let's remember, before MMA, it was all the backyard brawl stuff.
Brawls, yeah.
But he had his first fight 2003, and his record is 36 and 6, 35 and 60, 51 pro fights.
Yeah.
So,
that's insane. You know, that one point in time, me and Masvidal, I don't know if it's still the case, but me and Masvidal were the only guys with over 50 fights in the rankings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just him and I.
Well, he's only got 51 now. So when was this start from?
He only fights. He doesn't fight that often.
That's correct.
Maybe it was before his 50th fight or something. It was not that long ago. And then Alexei Oleinik was there for a while, but I don't think he's ranked anymore.
How many fights have you had now?
This next one will be 54.
54. That's a lot of fights, man. It's a lot of fights. Yeah. You know, what would be...
Masvidal's been fighting 5 years longer than I have.
Yeah, you've been busy, man. What would be, you know, to like, we have a lot of young up-and-coming fighters and, you know, athletes or whatever that listen to the podcast. Throughout 50-odd fights, Anthony, 54, did you say?
50. Yeah, this 53 so far. Next will be 54.
Right, so this will be 54. So call it 54. What would be the biggest thing that you learned and like a nugget of wisdom that you would hand down to, you know, an aspiring fighter?
I mean, people ask me this all the time, and there's a bunch of them, but like whatever you have planned, just throw it out the window, because whatever that plan is not going to happen. It's just not. I had all these plans. I got a plan right now, but I'm also very aware that it's likely going to change. You know, like I have this idea of how the next, however long my career is going to go, the next year, the next 2 years, how it's going to go till my retirement. And it's just not, you know, this sport is so fluid. There's so many ways to win. There's so many ways to lose. The temperature in the room can change overnight. You know, even just look at the light heavyweight division, where it's Blachowicz and Ankalaev fight for the title. So then in my head, I got this figured out, like, okay, I got to do this. I got to beat Jamal Hill. Then maybe I get one more and then I get a title shot. And then that fight goes to a draw and it just changed the entire division, you know? Yeah. And in a week before that, it's, you know, Yuri Prohaska is the champion of the world. So it's, the whole thing is just this whole game is so fluid and things change so much and you got to be able to adapt. And I think I fought that and tried to control it more when I was younger. So I think that would be, you know, very broadly would be something I learned.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you got to literally roll with the punches, you know, figuratively and actually, physically and figuratively. You know, you do, you know what I mean? Because along the way, you know, every time you step in there's two people, two men, women, whatever, and they got the same grand designs that you have as well. You know, and sometimes you might meet someone that was better than you on the night, and then it's like, whoa, now it's back to the drawing board. What do we do again? And I always say, and I said this to Chito Vera recently as well, as long as you don't give up on yourself, then you still got a chance. Because as soon as you give up on yourself, as soon as you say, I can't do it, as soon as that's it, as soon as you throw your toys in out the pram or whatever it is, you go sulking, you give up on yourself, then it truly is over. You know what I mean? Because human beings are capable of amazing things. You know what I mean? There's some incredible stories throughout sports, throughout mixed martial arts, people coming back and doing incredible things. As I say, once you give up on yourself, then it truly is game over. Harrington, come on and give us a non-mixed martial arts story.
Oh, that's a baby.
Oh, my. Hey, Rebecca, come here. You got to see this. She's just in the back doing a bit of a counting at the other desk. Oh, bless. Harrington's been sitting there for ages waiting to do this.
He's just waiting.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, she's waking up now.
Oh,
Look
how's
at
she
the
doing?
baby.
Dude, she's great. She slept like 4 hours in a row 2 nights ago, 5 hours in a row last night. She takes after her father.
And how's she feeding? Sorry, I'm
takes over the podcast. You see the amount of people on here. You can't just like dominate just because there's a baby.
I want to know how she's feeding.
She's feeding really well. She's growing every day. We're taking her to the pediatrician tomorrow to make sure that she gained back all the weight she lost since coming out of the womb. So, but yeah, I swear, Alex just said earlier, it feels like we can see her growing every day. It's crazy.
Oh, no,
That's
that's so
awesome.
amazing. She looks absolutely adorable.
Anthony, what was your guess at the weight?
I don't think I gave one.
No, they didn't give official.
Yeah, I don't think I gave one. How much did she weigh?
So, well, the thing...
8'6".
8 pounds 6.
8'6". All right.
Big girl.
It's a big old baby.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a big
Harrington, they lose weight initially.
Yeah.
So don't
So
be
we
alarmed,
took her to
but-
the pediatrician on Saturday. She was down like 7'2" or something.
Yeah.
7'7".
They lose weight initially, but listen, you know, if there's one man, if she's got the genes of someone that can put weight on, don't worry about it, Harrington. You are the man. Team opposite of weight cuts. I'm joking.
That is
I'm
awesome.
joking. No, congratulations, man, once again, because it is truly a life-changing moment, you know, because you realize that life's no longer just about you. And it does give you purpose. And I always feel, Anthony, and tell me what you think about this, and you, Rebecca, but like, you know, I remember I'm thinking about one guy in particular, and Ricky Gervais is one as well, and he has a very different stance. But, you know, people that don't have children, and whilst I never look down and pity them or anything, but sometimes I think, well, geez Louise, you know, kids is what it's all about. That's my drive. That's my purpose. That's what gets me out of bed and gets me going and makes me want to go out there and not seize the day. But do you know what I'm saying? But like to get my shit together and really make something of myself, because now I've got to provide for a family. You know what I mean? Did you kind of have that realization, Anthony, as a father?
Yeah, I did. I'm telling you, I say this all the time. My oldest daughter would be obviously my first, saved my life. Like I was a fucking renegade. Like I was truly like indifferent to what was going on in life. I was having fun doing this fighting thing or whatever, but I didn't have any like real drive. Like I was training and fighting and doing enough to like feed myself, but I always say like I needed someone to need me. And that's what changed everything for me. Once I didn't have once there was another person that depended on me, because I didn't give a shit about myself. I was just out living life, being a goddamn psycho. And like once
that's part of being young as well. You've got to enjoy that in order to be ready to have kids.
Right.
You know, you kind of got to go through that phase of just being selfish. When you're a kid, you know, I'm talking, you know, teenager and early 20s. It is all about you, as it should be. You know, you got to kind of embrace that, enjoy that period of your life, feel like you've done that, and then you can move on.
Oh, I think Anthony and I embraced the shit out of it.
Oh, I embraced the shit out of it for sure.
And continuously. Throughout,
and like moms seem like they're like parents, or moms are like moms as soon as they're pregnant. So even while Michaela was pregnant, I was still a goddamn crazy person. I was like, yeah, it's just a baby. Like, but when she was born, I was like, oh fuck, like I gotta take care of that thing.
Baby.
Yeah, like when you see how like helpless they are, like I don't know, it's just different. Like it didn't hit me until she was already here, and like Michaela was way ahead of me on the keeping shit together.
Now, let me ask you this, Harrington, because right now you you are looking like father of the year material.
But he really does.
I know he's sitting there, he's bouncing the baby.
Yeah, he's got it down.
She's got a perfect little face.
She really does, which is, again, weird coming from Harrington's loins. But
Alex,
is this for the camera? Is this for the camera, Harrington?
No.
Are you a hands-on father?
Dude, I feel the exact opposite. If I could become a stay-at-home dad, I would. All I want to do is take care of this
Alex,
little girl.
going to work.
I've become a master swaddler. I've changed more diapers now than I think my father did with me for like the entire time I was a baby. Like I just love taking care of her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
All right. Well,
Have you ever been swaddled as an adult, Mike?
Swaddled.
Oh, he hates to be confined. He has to untuck the blanket in bed. It's very irritating.
One
Yeah, do you know
time
when
me
you
and
get in
my
the
wife
especially go on, tell me.
one time we were like three kids in at this point, and I was like, what is with this swaddling thing? I don't understand. Like, they'll be crying and you make this little baby burrito and then they just stop. So like we swaddled each other in our comforter one time. Like, I was laid there with my hands down. I was like, all right, do it to me. And then it's actually not that bad. I didn't mind it.
Did you like it?
I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I did. Michael would freak out. He doesn't like to be confined. I'd be very comfortable with that, but
that was good.
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Pull that from
Bye.
sweetheart. I thought you want to see the baby.
I did want to see the baby.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, no, never been swaddled, and I don't like that. Like, if I get in a hotel room or even my
next time we work together, I'll swaddle you.
You're going to swaddle me? I can't wait. It's my lucky day. Anthony Smith swaddling Bisping. They'll be like, them two getting a little bit too close these days. All right, let's talk about the Beard Hedger Pro Kit from Manscaped, the world's leader for male grooming, regardless whether it's below the waist or on your face. They have got everything you need. The Beard Hedger Pro Kit starts with the Beard Hedger, the juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, it's waterproof. It's a cordless trimmer. It has a rotary wheel with 20 different lengths. You don't have to have tons of attachments. That was always very, very annoying. It's got a titanium-coated T-blade that is tough on hair, but smooth on the face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction every single time. But in the Beard Hedger Pro Kit, you get the beard shampoo and conditioner. All your hair is different, and your beard hair is much more coarse and easier to damage. That's why the kit has shampoo and conditioner specially designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, and replenish your natural oils, promoting beard health. Also, you got the beard oil. The nutrient-infused oil relieves dryness both on the beard and the skin beneath. And then you cap it off with the Beard Balm, a pomade that shapes, styles, and moisturizes, bringing the amazing scents of fresh eucalyptus, rosemary, and lavender essential oils. And of course, listen, the Beard Hedger Pro Kit is so awesome. They're also going to give you 3 free gifts: a beard brush, a comb, and scissors to make sure you are always looking your best, ready to impress, and the beard won't cause you any stress. Now, listen, give it a shot. Everything from Manscaped is sensational quality. You will not be disappointed. And you can also get 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com and use the code BISPING20. That is 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com and use the code BISPING20. The Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit, the premier solution to face grooming. UFC 287. Was Michael Chiesa supposed to fight on that card? Mm-hmm. I've seen some stuff with Michael Chiesa. So who was he supposed to fight? Li Jingliang, right? Then Li Jingliang, the leech got injured. And then now, and Harrington, just look this up if you can put the baby down for 1 second. No, Brian, whatever. This is the latest thing. Harry, I can't, I'm holding the baby. No. He's still got a job to do.
I got
He's still got stuff to do.
It's in the notes.
He can't message us because he ain't got no damn phone still.
Oh,
do me and Mike need to split this? You need some money?
No, I have insurance. It's going to be covered. Check this out. Some scumbag stole it out of my room. I turned on Find My iPhone. It was in New Jersey. Dude, I swear to you. Yes.
So when you were in the hospital and Alex was giving birth, some low-life individual has sneaked in and snagged your phone.
It was actually, we were in postpartum. Like Alex and I both got like our first sleep as parents. Essentially, we got like an hour or two apiece, and in that hour-long window, somebody came in and stole my phone. It's insane.
Can you still track it now?
Nah, it's been offline for like 2 days now. It's just whatever they're doing with it, they've done it.
Yeah, but I don't understand why people steal phones, because these days you can't even really break into it, right? With all the security measures and whatnot. And that kind of ties in, actually, Harrington.
When you can report it as stolen anyway, so it's not like they can do anything with it anyways.
Yeah.
No, exactly. But where's this? A man in San Antonio used an Apple AirTag to track his stolen truck before killing the man who stole it.
Deserved it.
He reported it stolen at about 2 p.m. At about 5 p.m., he found it in a parking lot about 20 miles away. The guy who stole the car was still in it. Guy took justice into his own hands and got his truck back. The San Antonio police did comment on it. They said they are aware of the situation and they have not determined yet whether or not they're going to charge the vigilante with a crime, but told people not to take justice into their own hands.
America.
America, indeed.
That's Texas as fuck. Like, we might, but we don't actually know.
I mean, so, like, you know, the guy who steals a truck, fair enough. That's a crime. That's not allowed to do. You know, you're not allowed to do that. You might go to jail for it. But then the guy shows up and goes, you know what? Yippee-ki-yay. Boom. See you, bro. And the cops are like, you did take the man's truck.
I love
that.
Today,
I love it as well.
Have you ever had a car stolen?
No, I haven't. I had a truck in San Antonio, ran into me though last week. I'm still mentally scarred from that. Check this out though. This is the difference in the UK and the US justice system right now. This is shocking. This is ridiculous. Midlothian, right, is a part in Scotland. Mm-hmm. A man who was found guilty of raping a 13-year-old girl in a park has walked free from court. A 21-year-old was given a community payback order as a direct alternative to a jail sentence. Found guilty of raping a 13-year-old and allowed to walk free from court.
How is that possible?
I don't know. That's why I tweeted it. I retweeted it with that. What is going on here?
What is happening?
It is just absolutely insane.
I think that
victims head down and oh god.
I don't even want to hear that part. Here. No way.
13-year-old daughter.
I think Brazil has it right. I really do. The way that they're
what happens in Brazil.
I love what they're doing in Brazil.
Dude, you can't do like okay. So ever tell you the story when we got snatched and grabbed in Brazil one time? We're like,
no, so but I really want to hear it.
So all these kids
can't believe after all this time you're only just telling me this now.
Yeah, so there was all this is the first time I went to Fortaleza. I fought in Fortaleza. And I think this was like the night of weigh-ins. And I don't think I'd ever even been out of the country. I think it was my first time. So this would have been in 2013.
This is UFC?
Yeah. We're walking the beach and they have
hotel right across the beach.
It's exactly same hotel.
I know it well.
And they have all those vendors right there on the, where they're selling crafts and whatever. So we walk down. And then when it starts to get dark and there's not any more vendors, we turn around and we come back. And it's already nighttime. So we're walking back. And apparently the tourist police had kind of spotted us and said, oh, these guys probably shouldn't be out right now. So they started following us, but we had no idea. So we're walking along the beach. We get to about where we're right in front of the hotel. And I think we take a couple of pictures of each other. And then we keep walking. Well, these kids ran up behind us and pushed all of us from behind, like hard. And so we're all like stumbling, catching ourselves, and they're grabbing in our pockets and trying to get necklaces. And they end up getting, I believe they got a wallet and a necklace off of, there was like 4 of us. And then they take off. Well, the tourist police jumped on them right away because they were watching us. So they chased him down to the water and the kid's got this necklace in his hands. And the cops are just pistol whipping the shit out of these kids. Like these are teenagers and they're just banging the barrel into the forehead of these kids, and he's screaming the whole time. And I had one of my old Brazilian jiu-jitsu coaches with me, and he's from Brazil, so he's speaking Portuguese. And the kid's saying he didn't do it, but clearly he did because he's got the necklace in his hands. Anyways, they just beat the shit out of him, and then they pick him up, handcuff him, and they walk him back towards the street. And the cop cars are like parked on the street now, and all the vendors that are selling shit come up. And they're just taking free shots at these kids as they're walking by. I bet 20 separate people came up and just took free shots at all these kids. And the cops just would hold them back up, let them take their shot, walk them a little ways. Another guy would come up and punch them, like just kind of fucked them up on the way. And then I went back to the hotel, and a couple of my coaches had to go to the police station to like identify them. So then they bring them out for the lineup, and it's not the same kids. And then they were like, no, that's not them. And they're like, the kids yeah, it is.
Beat up on the beach weren't the kids that robbed you?
No, it was. So they took the same kids that took the necklace and the wallet. They took all of them to jail. Well, then they took 2 of my coaches because I was like, I'm out of here. I'm not going down there.
I'm fine.
So I went to the hotel. But then when they brought them out for the lineup, it wasn't the same kids. So then my coaches were like, no. That's not the same kids. And so they say, yeah, it is. Sign here. And they're like, no, it's not. And they were like, yes, it is. Sign here. And they were like, fuck it, we just signed it and left. They were like, we're not getting involved in this mess. But anyways, I like that kind of justice system where like, let the people deal with it.
They're doing some crazy shit in Brazil right now where like, because street carjackings are so prevalent that you don't get prosecuted if you run somebody down who you see committing a crime. So people are getting just run over in the streets. It's wild.
But I mean that's a bit extreme. But to your point there, Anthony, I kind of like that because listen, violence isn't the answer, but it does solve some bloody things, and it will teach those people a lesson. The problem is what we're seeing in this day and age, sadly, is that kids aren't held accountable for anything. Mothers and fathers certainly. Strong positive father role models aren't around as much in some circumstances. The world's gone soft. I'm not saying you should beat your children or hit the children, but even discipline or even a little spank on the ass or something, or a clip round the ear hole, we used to call it in England, a little clip round the ear hole if you've been a cheeky little shit. You know what I mean? It keeps you in check. The world has gone ridiculously soft. This morning I saw a news report on referees in football, soccer, I'm talking about, referees in football, and now they're wearing these body cams, right? Because they're feeling that they're under danger of physical attack or whatever. Because and it's not, they're not physically getting attacked. There's people verbally giving them shit because if they disagree with the call that they made or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they're making a huge big deal out of it. It's like, well, hold on a minute. If you're supposed to, and it's sports. People get riled up. Angers flare. People talk a little bit of crap. And if they push it too far, then you give them a red card and you send them off. And if there is any if it escalates too far, well, there's a lot of people watching that exact thing and it will probably be on TV. But now we're protecting these referees because, they might be getting intimidated. Well, guess what? You're an authority figure. You know what I'm saying? This is just the pussification of the world. You're supposed to be an authority figure. And if you can't control some soccer players from football players who are renowned to be the softest in the world, do you know what I mean? Then maybe you shouldn't be in that position to start with. Do you know what I mean? So I'm all for the Brazilian justice.
Well, it goes down to parenting too. And I'm not going to judge anyone for the way that they parent or how you parent your kids is totally your thing, right? But like sometimes we'll be walking through the store or, we'll be walking through the mall or through the airport or something. And the way that some of these kids talk to their parents, like and sometimes it's the way that the parents talk to their kids. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know. But I don't talk to my kids like they're babies. Like if my 11-year-old is acting like an idiot, I'll say, hey, shut the fuck up and get over here. And then I'll talk to her like she's an adult. Like I'm not swearing and, calling her names, but there's no like, okay, we need to really talk about this and let's sit down and have this long conversation about how you're feeling. I don't give a fuck how you're feeling. I need you to be well-behaved and respectful. And you know what I mean? Like that's how I talk. I talk to them like they're adults. My 5-year-old, when she's acting like an idiot, we have an adult conversation. And I don't know. I just listening to the way that people talk to kids and the kids talk to their parents, it drives me absolutely crazy.
It drives me nuts sometimes when you see parents talking to a kid that is clearly not a toddler, 2, 3, 4 years old. Oh, baby, are you okay? And all the rest of it. It's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You got to grow up a child to be, I don't know, not the type of person that you need to be. Like I've never laid my hands on my children. I can categorically say that, but I have been mean. Do you know what I mean? And when it's been time to call out their shit, I have done that in a truly intimidating way, shall we say, because I'm your father. Do you know what I mean? And that's
I'm not your friend.
Dad, man. I'm not your friend right now. And I like it if we are friendly, but I'm also your father. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest, sometimes I do blur those lines a little bit because I like to be friends with them and I like to have a laugh and all the rest of it. But there's a line that you don't cross. Like with Lucas one time, I think we talked about it. He went out, we checked his location in the middle of the night and he was out down near the Best Buy moving along. And it was like 3:00 in the bloody morning. He was staying at a friend's house. So, and we'd had a couple of drinks. You know, we had to jump in the car and go drive around and find him. Get your ass home. I'm like, I said, you're riding the bike home. He's like, oh, should we put the bike in the car? I'm like, no. Get home. And you better be home before I get there in a car. So he's pedaling like a maniac. And then we got in. I said, go to bed. We'll talk in the morning. And I sat him down. And I said, look, you know, and I was very, very firm. Did put a hand on him. And then it turned into giving him some guidance. Do you know what I mean? Started strong, telling him the error of his ways, what it can lead to, you know, and then I started, you know, turning it into an inspirational speech and what you can achieve if you stay on the straight and narrows. And, you know, for some of these children that are out there going off the rails, I feel for them as well, because unfortunately there's a lot of shitty parents out there. There's a lot of parents that are absent. You know what I mean? There's a lot of kids, young men in particular, that haven't had that father figure, which is so important at such an instrumental age of their life.
It really is. It really is. And I don't know. That's I think we went off on a tangent, which is fine.
We did. And
which is okay.
Just to wrap this up. Yeah. No, people love the tangents. Harrington just put in here, and thank you, Harrington, for a little clarification, although we're not going to go on about it regarding what brought this up. You know, this rape case, sadly. From the judge sentencing, he said, you are a first offender with no previous history of prison. You are 21 years old and you were 17 at the time. Prison does not lead me to believe that this will contribute to your rehabilitation. Well, I'll just end on this, and you can give your thought as well. Prison is what he needed. Prison was what is the message that he needed to be sent. Because when I was younger, as we were saying before, prior to mixed martial arts, I was a nutcase. I was a lunatic. I was always getting in scraps because I didn't care about myself. You know what I mean? I didn't care. So I was always getting in fights, and I was often getting arrested, and I was getting caught before a judge. And every single time I got away with it, I got a little slap on the hand. I got a little £250 fine, and I wasn't forced to change my ways until I went to prison. I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. This isn't a joke anymore. You know,
this isn't
Rebecca was pregnant with Callum. I'm ashamed to say. Do you know what I mean? Had to come and visit me in the prison with a belly out here, 7 months pregnant. It's like that sends a message. So you're saying to this kid here that's gone out there and raped a 13-year-old girl viciously, oh, I don't feel like you need to go to prison.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't change shit until I got slapped right in the face with something I couldn't get out of.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happens. And that forces a change. Anyway, as you say, we did go off on a tangent now, but I do like talking about those kinds of things. Just looking through the notes, obviously we're trying to stay away from UFC 287. Otherwise, that totally cannibalizes Thursday's show and gives us nothing to talk about. Looking at the fight card here, Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya. Did we talk about it last week? Adesanya said he's going to give it his last shot.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we talked about it.
We did.
Yep.
We did. Okay. Raul Rosa Jr., 18 years old.
Crazy.
Going back to, it kind of ties into what we were saying. Raul Rosa Jr., as we know, was on the Contender, had a dominant victory in his UFC debut right before Christmas, first round submission. Now he's back in against Christian Rodriguez. 18 years old. He's fighting in the UFC. What were you doing at 18 years old, Anthony?
I was fighting. Yeah, I was fighting as an amateur.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I was fighting as an amateur. I'd been lying about my age for a little while because at first I wasn't old enough I just changed the year of my birth. But yeah, I was fighting as an amateur. I was like really starting to fall in love with it. It was like kind of what started to pull me out of being a piece of shit. Finally had like a focus and something that I really liked and I was starting to learn. So yeah, that's what I was doing.
Well, good. And that's why I commend this guy here, Raul Rosas Jr., 18 years old. Yeah. You know, the discipline and the dedication that it takes to get to this level and to win at this level and to maintain that. At 18, he should be very, very proud of himself. Harrington, what is the biggest story that we're not seeing, that we're not talking about? I'm going to do it. I'm going to Google it. I'm just going to put in MMA. I'm going to go news on the Google.
News.
Conor McGregor, Jake Paul, pros react to blockbuster. The MMA Hour. No, we're not talking about that. Dustin Poirier making his analyst debut this weekend, Anthony, coming for your job?
I did know that, actually. I did. Good for him. That's good for him.
Yeah.
No, I think
for him. I'm joking.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to remember. So because I was not doing this one, so it worked out perfect for him to come on just because I'm in camp or whatever. But I'm excited to see him on the desk. I'm always wanting fighters to get more opportunities, like
100%.
If anybody takes my job, then I wasn't good enough to have it. So I just, keep working on my own craft and grinding, and
there you go.
Waiting until Michael Bisping hits the lottery and he decides he's going to retire, and I'll take his spot.
Yeah, well, when I'm going to hit the lottery, I will. But I don't think I would if I hit the lottery.
Probably. Then what else would you do? I guess.
Well, Joe Rogan's hit the lottery. I mean, I think he gets
that's fair.
a year from his Spotify deal, and he's still commentating. And I truly love it. I truly am passionate about it. And the research side of things, it's a necessary evil. And I wasn't the best student. That can be laborious. That's laborious. It is. I'm not going to lie. But calling the fight, I am having the time of my life. Maybe a bit too much. All right. If you have a question, send it in. Where did he send it into, Anthony?
It's at BYM Pod. BYMPod@gmail.com.
Yeah, there it is. BYMPod@gmail.com. Send us in your questions. Personable, funny, inspirational. You ask us, we've got it all day long. Now, Harrington's holding a baby, but he's threw it to one side to do this bit. He's like, this is the most important. This is what I'd get paid for. Literally threw the baby across the room.
I mean, priorities, boys. If you're listening to this show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts, make sure you're subscribed. Leave a 5-star rating, positive review. It helps out on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new video drops. And if you want to catch over 400 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and uncensored, head to gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use the promo code BYM. Get yourself a 7-day free trial. Check out over 20 great shows on the network.
All right, so our first question here today is from a Mr. Scott Cavill.
This is Scott from Cornwall in England. Mikey B knows where Cornwall is. He spent some of his pocket money in the arcades down here when he was younger. Anyway, something I've always wanted to know. On the pat downs, I can understand the referee wanted to check if they got the mouth guard in. I can understand if they're wearing the cup. I can understand when they check their nails just to see if they're not sharp or anything like that. But what are they going to find behind the ears? Or like patting down the arms? It's like, oh, hello, what's this? What's this behind your ear? Come on, that ain't right. So could you answer why they do that? Anyway, love the show. And Harrington, fuck you.
Well,
that's a great question.
Is it?
Yeah. I bet most people don't know that.
I know why. I'm assuming you know why.
Of course so. But I bet most people don't understand why they do that.
Brian, do you know why? If you do know, don't say yes and ruin it.
I believe I can figure out why they do that. Do you want me to take a guess?
No, I don't. No, get off the screen. Anthony, the floor is yours.
So when they're checking behind the ears, typically when they do that, they will wipe down your arms, they'll wipe down your legs. And if you ever pay attention, a lot of the referees will wipe down the arms and then they'll rub their fingers together. And they'll check your legs and they'll rub their fingers together. And then they check behind your ears and they rub their fingers together. They're checking for oil or Vaseline or any kind of grease or any type of oily, greasy substance on your skin. And behind the ears is an age-old trick from way back in the day, where if you had a good guillotine guy or a good jiu-jitsu guy, and you're a wrestler or something, you shoot a takedown, he comes over your head for a guillotine. If you have grease or Vaseline or oil behind your ears, then you'll be able to slip your head out of that choke much easier. So they're checking your arms and legs for oils to make sure that you know, if someone's shooting takedowns on you and your legs are oily or greasy, then you can slip out of that takedown a lot easier. Back in the day, a lot of people would take baths in like baby oil and they would soak in the bath like the night before or the morning of.
So the body absorbs it.
And then they'll wipe themselves all the way down when you'll warm up and then you'll wipe yourself completely clean before you walk out. And then once you start sweating, it'll start coming back out of your pores, and then you're greasy again. So that's why they're always wiping everyone down in between rounds and feeling their skin.
Yeah, exactly. And a pivotal fight in the history, if we shall say this, is Greasegate, which is BJ Penn versus George St. Pierre, UFC 94, 2009. Because, as Anthony said there, they're looking for Vaseline because, if you got Vaseline on your body, it's going to help you, get out of submission attempts. It's going to help you with defending takedowns and things like that. You're just going to be slipping and sliding all over the place. UFC 94, that was when George St. Pierre, they could clearly see the corner was putting Vaseline on him. So there was a big investigation.
And on his back, right?
On his back. The referee, one of his cornermen was clearly rubbing it in. Dana lost the plot. A lot of people were super pissed off. BJ Penn, Perillo, my guy, was in the corner of BJ Penn that night. They made an immediate rule change. No Vaseline allowed in the locker rooms backstage. And the only time
the coaches used to do it.
The coaches used to do it. You can put it on your arms. You can maybe get away with it just a little bit. And that's why now, the athletic commissions, depending on how anal they are, but if they're doing their job properly, they actually look inside your bags as well to see what you've got, because they're making sure you don't have Vaseline. And UFC 94, BJ Penn, George St. Pierre. Good question there, because I'm assuming some people might not have known that stuff. But maybe think about, when you go through airports and they pat you down. Do you have any metal in your body?
I do, a lot.
Yeah, it pisses me off because when you go through security and you go, I've got metal knees, and they walk through it and you walk through it, and then they go, right, then you got to go through the scanner, then you got to take your time, and then they're like, it's beeping. I'm like, yeah, I told you, I've got metal knees and I've got a metal neck, okay? And they still treat you like a goddamn bloody criminal. TSA, lighten up, guys.
Yeah, they're not big fans of me.
They love you, don't they, Anthony?
No, they don't.
Brian, what else do we have?
Okay, so this next one is kind of controversial, but also interesting, and I want to know if you guys have a take on what's going on here. This question is from Ryan Rapp.
Hey, fellas, I'll get right to the point. There's something about this last Adesanya-Alex fight that has been bothering me since watching it live. I wanted to get your thoughts. We're at the end of the first round here. Adesanya hits Alex with a big right hand and a big left hook, and he is pretty wobbly on his feet. Cut to the corner, where we have this cut man or corner man fingering Alex's snoot for the entire duration of the break. You could take my word for it. The gloved finger is underneath the nose the whole time. He does tell him to breathe in, breathe in. The nose does not look bloody or anything like that. So my question to you guys is, was this smelling salts? I know that's a pretty bold claim, but the whole thing seems odd to me. Alex gets hurt pretty badly. You immediately have a gloved finger shoved under his nose, and his corner tells him to breathe in, breathe in. They do have a history in kickboxing where Izzy hurts Alex pretty badly towards the end of the round, so maybe they were anticipating another situation like this and came prepared. I don't even know if that guy is a UFC supplied cut man, if he was a part of Alex's team. So maybe there's something I'm just totally missing, but if it was smelling salts, what are the implications here? I'm sure those are not legal. Should this be something that Adesanya's team looks out for this weekend? What are your thoughts on the whole situation? Thanks.
Interesting. Well, first of all, thank you very much, because I'd never spotted that before, and I don't think anywhere has reported that, because it is interesting. The finger placement, it is right there at the base of the nose, and I understand.
Yeah, it's like pushing it up. It's weird.
I understand the thought about smelling salts, because that would kind of like, wake you up a little bit.
That's Rudy, though.
Not allowed. Yeah, I was going to say.
That's Rudy.
I didn't see who it was. I was going to say Brian, play it again, but it's Rudy, is it? I don't know his name, but the cutmen aren't. They don't bring UFC guys, fighters. They don't bring in their own cutmen. They all work for the company, and they're all paid for by the commission or even the UFC. So I don't know. I understand why you're thinking that, but what's your theory, Anthony, of why you would have that there?
I wonder if it's like a I was just wondering when I was watching if it's like a pressure point or some sort of, because he wasn't hurt, he wasn't bleeding, he wasn't anything. So there was really no cut man work to do. So I can't tell. It looks like he's got one hand, he's holding the ice under his on his chest. And then I wonder if it's just like a,
is it
like
two fingers?
Like it looks like it's two. Yeah. No, maybe just one. I wonder if there's, I wonder what his thumb is doing. I wonder if it's like a breathing technique. We're trying to get him to focus.
Because the thing is, I tell you what, in between rounds, 60 seconds, granted, it's only the end of the first round, not the end of the fourth. But unless it's absolutely necessary, I do not want two fingers obstructing my breathing through my nose. No, you're trying to suck in as much oxygen as possible whilst you're not doing anything. You're trying to recover, and that is hindering that.
I wonder if he's, because it looks
opening
like
the nostril.
I wonder if he's just pushing, because it looks like he's doing this, like he's pushing his nostril straight up. I don't know. Play it again.
Play it again, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like he's messing in his mouth with his thumb.
That is very curious.
I'm going to ask Rudy.
And I would love to ask him because I'll guarantee. So,
or maybe Tate. Forward. Maybe I'll hit up Tate and see if we can get an update.
Tate's the man, by the way, isn't he?
Yeah,
isn't he great?
We should get him on here.
We should get him on.
Like, how do you start?
Jamal's podcast, right? Or do we do it together?
Yeah, we should get him on and just with him, figure out what it's like being a cut man, and just get some funny stories.
Let's get Tate on. Do you have his number?
Yeah, I'll text him.
He gives me shit all the time. Like every time I see him, because
I always have to do it like right when we're on here, or I'll forget.
Yeah. Well, message him now. No, I don't have it. No, because he asked me if he could get a copy of my book. I said, yeah, no problem.
He's a big reader. He's constantly sending me like different books he wants me. He's really, 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 he's kind of just a, he's a goofy fucker, but he's really smart. He's like reads a lot of like self-optimization books and like really motivational stuff. So he's constantly sending me book titles.
I like him a lot. Like him a lot. I'm reading. Do you read it at all, Anthony?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I'm starting the James Patterson series books from the very beginning, where it's the Alex Cross books. So I'm starting at the very beginning. I'm going to read. I'm going to try to read all like 17. They're like murder mystery type books.
Okay.
So nothing crazy, nothing like super fancy that it's going to make me a better person. But
Rebecca's always trying to get me to read novels, and I don't like reading. If I'm reading, I want to learn something, but sometimes it gets a bit much, and I just like give up on it. And she's like, "Well, stop reading books like that are way above your head, okay? Way above your pay station. Just read a novel, read a story, okay?" Right now, I'm reading Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules to Life or whatever it's called, which is
I've started that.
Callum makes fun of me. He goes, "Oh, look at that, Jordan Peterson. Oh, there you go, Dad. You're so pathetic." I'm like, "Shut up, you prick. He's a very smart man." And there's some great rules for life in there, guys. You got time for one more question?
Yeah, let's do one more. We can do one more.
One more. What do we got, Brian?
All right, cool. So we have a question here from Mr. Jake Scott, and he has questions about getting some merch.
Okay.
Hey, guys. Jake Scott here in Charleston, South Carolina, about 3-4 hours away from Charlotte, where you'll be fighting on May 13th, Anthony. I'm really hoping I can make it to the event. Big time fan, but I'm a broke med student. Ticket prices haven't exactly been friendly, my kind. But we'll see. So my question is there a place at the fights where fans can meet the fighters fighting the night, or fighters that just showing up like a fan meet and greet or something like that? And if not, is there somehow that I could meet you, either before or after the fight if I am to make it there? My other question is there a place where you sell merch, that, little fans like me can get, so that, even if we're all the way up in the Himalayan mountains, the nosebleeds at the Spectrum Center, we can still be repping, the guy that knocked out Johnny Walker in 10 seconds? That'd be really cool if so. So let me know about that. Maybe I missed it. And Harrington, I cannot believe that you found someone to procreate with. That's got to be like, one of the eighth great wonder of the world or something. But, God bless, and congrats to you and the baby.
Where did you get the merch, Anthony?
I'm actually going to post it in my Instagram bio today. There's my wife does this thing where they open the store just like pre-fight, so it'll be open for a couple weeks. So I'll post it today.
Nice.
today you'll be able to get your Lionheart gear. As far as a meet and greet, to be honest with you, before and after, I'm usually pretty. Not that I wouldn't love to meet you, but after the fights, it's a car wash of media and bullshit and family and friends, and there's just no way to get away. And then before, we're pretty dialed into weight cuts and getting ready to fight. Also, very surprised someone
don't get it.
Procreated with Harrington.
Also very surprised. People don't understand. There's just no time for stuff like that. And if you happen to be like outside the hotel and you're walking out, because there's always a collection of fans out there, you can say hi quickly, but you can't do an official meet and greet and go meet people. It's so mentally taxing, takes away your energy.
The UFC does bring in guest fighters.
Yep.
I don't know, probably on the UFC website or the UFC Instagram, they always put out like a schedule of where those guest fighters will be during the week of the fight. So typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's, around the city, there's some sort of meet and greet or fan event or whatever. So, yeah.
And then also regarding merch, I've yet to order some. So I've got to order some for you and some for me, Anthony, so we can actually wear it and promote it. Do you know what I mean? I'm probably no one's aware of it, but if you look on the YouTube channel just down there, I think there's a link to the shop. But I've even got a single one yet. So I think we've sold it's not a lot. No one's getting rich off it. But I am going to order some for you and for me, Anthony, and we'll wear it on the show, and we're going to sell thousands and thousands of shirts, and we're going to be rich from merch. And we're not going to need to fight anymore or even do a podcast.
Just sell merch.
All right, well, listen, we'll wrap this one up. Brendan Loughnane, thank you very much for joining. Give him a follow on social media if you haven't done so already. Anthony, you're the man as always. Thursday, we are back. We're going to do a big deep dive on UFC 287, give some predictions, general thoughts on the card, all that good stuff. And that's about it. Take care. See you Thursday.